When targeting winter production in a hot climate, the first question is whether to do a long cycle with indeterminate varieties or 2 short cycles using semi-determinate or determinate varieties. So it is now June the 1st and we are in the retractable X-frame at the Cravo demonstration greenhouse in Culiacan, and these tomato plants were transplanted October 13th, 2014, and the outdoor conditions, air temperatures are now reaching 37-38 degrees, and we can see that the tomatoes, the plants are showing a high degree of transpiration and water stress because the leaves are starting to curl and the fruit size is getting smaller. But when we look at the overall structure of the long cycle design, the fact that the stems are long and skinny, all of the leaves are exposed to the the air temperature and humidity conditions, and the transpiration rate's very high because the leaves are not close to the adjacent plants. So these plants are really starting to show the effects of the high temperature and low humidity, because we have no misting happening. So even though the air temperatures are very high, the only way we can boost the relative humidity is to trap the humidity by closing the white roof. Now over here we have a semi-determinate tomato that was transplanted on January the 20th. And so this crop is now in its 5th month. And when we look at the semi-determinate tomato plant, we can see that the leaves are more in a bush configuration as opposed to a long string. Consequently, there's a microclimate here that's helping these plants cope with the high air temperatures and the low relative humidity. We can see that the fruit size is still very good. The fruit is still very firm. And so the fact that these plants are 3 months younger helps make them stronger. But I think the big reason for the change in the plant development is simply due to the fact that we have a better microclimate when we're in a staked condition, because we have many leaves here helping to create a microclimate. So if you are in a hot location, we're at latitude 24 right now, and if we're trying to target the time before open field and after open field, by transplanting a semi or determinate variety in the beginning or middle of August, these crops will then harvest in November, December, and early January, right before the open field. And so by removing the crop the middle of January and replanting like we did here, we now have a very strong crop producing months after the open field has finished. And so we're using the same irrigation and stake support system that you would see in the field, making it easier for the farmers to transition from a field to a retractable roof environment. And one of the interesting things is here we can see that the plants have basically fallen over because they're much shorter than those plants over there. And what's happening is these plants are starting to throw new shoots. So even though the plant management did not keep the plant growing vertical, here we can see a good situation where the stem is starting to bend over, but the plant has thrown a new shoot. You can see there's lots of hair helping to protect the new growth. So here in Culiacan, the open field harvest normally finishes in March. And here we are on June the 2nd with a crop of tomatoes. It is still ranking up at the very top level from a quality and size. And they also have the same firmness as what a field tomato would in February.